the day before a show, he would do like 36 units of like a Serostim or Nototropin or Humatrope.
A whole pen.
And you see his whole body. He did a whole bottle, 36 unit, the Humatrope, and his body came back to life.
We got another one here. Question for the next show. Can a bikini competitor leverage HGH, or would multi-year use result in overall physique change that wouldn't suit the division? Also, shout out to you for using the term leveraging. I like that. Instead of using, it sounds just better. Like, can I leverage HGH? I don't know.
So wait, the question,
my wife
asking
who competed.
No, go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my wife who competed, in between drug tested shows, I got to word this carefully. In between drug tested shows, she would occasionally use growth hormone and
leverage
for sleep.
Leverage.
I leverage the growth hormone to improve sleep quality and get that nice youthful skin texture. And at one point, she was bigger than the bikini class allowed, but wellness wasn't really there. So she would be like a very skinny figure competitor, because she competed in the WBPF, which again is a drug-tested soda. So there was no growth hormone into the show, allegedly. So they would pose like figure competitors, but look in between a bikini and wellness. Yeah, it's a bit hard to say. So I would say that it has its place, especially if you're a little bit older lady and you don't want to go hard on the Anavar or the Ostarine or whatever drugs they recommend nowadays in the bikini class, because there's some synergy there, So I do think it's beneficial, and whatever steroids you want to use as a bikini competitor, whether that's Proviron or DHEA or Anavar or Clen, I think growth hormone can be a part of that, 1.2 units, 2 units. Just at one point, what I do notice is with the women, they start to get more drawn faces because you get the lipolysis everywhere. And then the face looks a little bit drawn. And, for the men, that's okay. You get that skull face, the Dorian Yates face. That's cool. But for the women, it doesn't look so nice. So you have to, at one point, I would say with the growth hormone, you would need to pull back if the face gets too drawn. That would be my recommendation.
And I think that's more pronounced in the older demographic. I don't know if you guys see this or not. I would assume that you do, but I know myself even. The older I get, I am reminded that we are losing collagen from our skin. So the leaner I get, I am far more. I was just comparing pictures the other day to when I was. It was after the Junior USAs in 2009, and I took some hotel room photos, and it was surprising to me. Phil Heath is a good example of this too. And he very, very round faced, not pulled in John Meadows skull face or Skeletor face. But yet, he would obviously be in great condition. Arguably, John was clearly leaner and drier. But at the same time, the older we get, we lose the collagen. We're going to get sharper edges. And I think that with women, if they're older, I think they have to be more careful of that as well, because they're going to the skin is just thinner. Without the collagen, the skin is just thinner. That's why it's funny when we talk about grainy. I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but when we talk about grainy muscle, I always think that's funny because it really doesn't have anything to do with the muscle. It has to do with the fact that the skin is so thin. And that grainy term tends to be with more of a veteran competitor. So to me, grainy really means you don't have the collagen. Your skin is thinner as you get later into your 30s than it was in your 20s when it's thicker. It's Victor Martinez skin versus, say, Branch Warren skin. And yet people would say Branch Warren has, he's grainy. Well, it's a difference. Anyway, I did get off on a tangent. A
lot of the women will be doing, like all the bikini girls I know, because obviously Rachel's a pro and we're friends with a lot of bikini pros. They all do collagen, Botox, all the whole, they're on a regimen like every 3 months or 4 months or something like that. I only see the credit card bills, but I digress. But honestly, I think growth hormone is probably the best compound of female bikini athletes. Well, a bikini athlete, I guess I don't need to throw in the word female, but a bikini athlete can take almost year round because it doesn't have the same, especially in the doses they're using, the same negative side effects of trying to use an Anavar or a Winstrol or one of the other PEDs that, women will use getting into contest, during their contest cycle. So I it's not uncommon for me to leave, 1 to 2 units of growth hormone in pretty much year round, 5 days a week for bikini athletes.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that. And I think you guys both mentioned the dosing. I think that's really the critical factor there too, is, you don't need to do the 4, 8, you're not going there, but 1.5, 2 units. I think that's great. Dude, you reminded me, I got off the collagen for a little while. Just basically forgetting to take it, but I notice a huge difference in my skin. Skip, you should get some collagen if that's something you're thinking about. Like, put it this way, man. I got on it. My mom started using it. My mom started getting like people asking her like, what's your beauty regimen? Then my sister saw her and she was like, holy shit, she started using collagen. So go to True Nutrition, get the beef collagen isolate. I have
a jug of it sitting right over there on the counter because my wife. Remember, I asked you about it. My wife.
Yeah, that's right.
Wanted to use it. So, and it was so funny because she asked me about it and if I could get it, and I started explaining her what to get, and then of course, my wife thinks that I don't fucking know anything. Like I'm the dumbest fucking person ever when it comes to training. It's just laughable. Sometimes I just look, I'm like, I wouldn't come into your office and tell you how to manage property. So I don't understand why you act like I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. But anyway, my thing is I don't care about, I like my face being drawn in. Quite frankly, when it is, I think I look younger than, I look older when I'm fuller and fatter, and when I'm leaner and pulled in, I think I look younger. So I don't have any problem with it, to be honest with you.
Well,
now,
for the connective tissue,
that's
at least then. At least the connective tissue.
Yeah,
that's the reason I use it anyway.
I use it, I think, for the last 5 years because I always got horrible response to whey protein. A little bit of gas and bloating, so I just cut that out. So I was looking into collagen protein. So I mixed collagen with gelatin. Gelatin slows down the digestion of the collagen a little bit. So me and my wife were using that for 5-6 years. My wife towards the end of her competitive career, but she still got the drawn-out face towards the end. But of course, we have to diet it down. It's, part of the game. Yeah. Did you guys ever do growth hormone loading at the end of a contest?
I never had personally.
No.
What would you describe growth hormone loading as?
So I did something like this with my bikini competitors and some of the men's physique and classic physique guys, because a lot of times they really have to suck down and make weight, right? Especially classic physique. And my wife as well, she was always weight. So you get them down a little bit more than is needed, or to fit into a weight class. Then you only have maybe 2 or 3 days to load them up. And then the last day before the contest, I would load a little bit of growth hormone, depending on their blood glucose levels, might be 6 units, 8 units. And it adds a level of aestheticness, a level of roundness. Now, of course, it's not going to be as dramatic as, again, 10 milliliters of AMP or ATP blends, with heptaminol and whatever. That's mostly for the bodybuilders. Bikini girls can be heaving, backstage, that kind of stuff.
You can have veins everywhere.
You don't want to see that. Yeah, exactly. So I would load maybe 6 units of growth hormone the day before and then cut the water at a certain time. And that would add a level of, like athleticness to the physique. That would really help. But again, this is in drug-tested shows where you have to cycle off the clen and cycle off the steroids. So a little bit of fullness is lost towards the end because, these drugs are metabolized from the body. And with growth hormone, WADA isn't really on top of that. So we would load that. Yeah. But it's something worth looking into for the bikini. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do, especially with myself. If you got a taller, skinnier, lankier guy like myself, the GH loading, absolutely. And this is something I learned from Meadows. Because he had to kill himself to make 212, and he lost all of his pop, all of his fullness. So he had to pull his growth hormone at like 3 weeks out to continue to lose weight. And then the day before a show, he would do like 36 units of like a Serostim or Nototropin or Humatrope.
A whole pen.
And you see his whole body. He did a whole bottle, 36 unit the Humatrope, and his body came back to life just
Holy
like
shit.
that. Yeah. So then we started doing it with me, and the results were just dramatic. So I actually do it a lot of the times with my competitors too. Or if I have someone where they hold water with growth hormone, even when they're peeled, I'll pull it out like 10 days, and then I'll load it back in the night before the show. Yeah, with like 18 units of Serostim or something. So
good. I love it.
I got to mess with that. That's something I've never tried.
What's the blood sugar?
It's quite rare.
Do you know what it was?
Most guys don't.
Was the blood sugar level high? I don't know if you monitored it or didn't monitor it.
Do you remember? I was actually on a podcast talking about this yesterday. Do you guys remember I told you how I did a bottle of Serostim a day for about 40 days?
Yes.
Going into 2020 universe. I checked my blood glucose, and I was on 700 grams of carbs too. So keep in mind, I was in a really depleted, like I over-dieted like crazy. And then, Meadows is like, oh, we got to fix this, man. Anyway, so we added a bottle of growth in a day, bumped my carbs up about 4 times what I was eating. And I went from like 239 to 254 on stage or something like that. And I was testing my blood sugar because I was very concerned about that. And every day I was still waking up 78, 80. I think it went as high as like 84 towards the end, to the point where I continued it post show for like another, I want to say 2 to 3 weeks. And even then my blood sugar stayed pretty good. So.
Okay, that's good. Did you eat like an asshole after the show, or you were still?
No, I never do. I never do. Like,
okay, that's good.
No, because I don't look good when I do that. I'm not one of these guys that can eat like 8 free meals and just look 20 pounds better. It's more so. I'll have like a meal on Saturday night, and then maybe Sunday we'll graze a little bit and have like a nice dinner, and then Monday morning I want to be back to my same pre-show weight, my Thursday pre-show weight, by like the Tuesday or Wednesday following a contest. So I'm starting with a clean slate. So.
Yeah.